U.S. President Barack Obama has kicked off his Asia trip. He met with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in Tokyo to discuss the Trans-Pacific Partnership. If approved, it could create the world's biggest trading deal. But talks have stalled. Mike Firn is in Tokyo. And Mike, what are the sticking points this time?
Well, Phil, those talks going on late into the night. Japan still fighting to keep 5 agricultural products out of a free trade agreement: beef and pork, rice, wheat, sugar and dairy products. Now, Nikkei News is reporting that Japan has actually offered to cut tariffs on beef down to 15% from 38.5%. That will be a better deal than Japan agreed with Australia earlier this month. Also, it's considering cutting tariffs on pork and cheese, according to the Nikkei. Now, Washington is also asking for more access to Japan's auto market. This Obama-Abe summit later today follows 2 meetings Wednesday between the U.S. Trade Representative Michael Froman and Akira Amari, the Japanese minister responsible for the Trans-Pacific Partnership. After the first meeting, Froman telling reporters that Japan needs to take what he called, quote, a bold path in economic renewal, revitalization and regional leadership. Now, Obama told the Yomiuri newspaper before he came to Japan, TPP will benefit all the 12 countries involved in the talks. He said cutting tariffs and other barriers would, quote, open more markets to our goods, boost our exports and help make our businesses more competitive in the global economy, Phil.
All right, Mike, you're not just only following some of these big trade deals that they're trying to put in place, but also some of the major geopolitical hotspots around the world. What was said?
Well, they're discussing security. Obama and Abe last met at The Hague in a trilateral summit with South Korean President Park, and they discussed the DPRK missile launches and the nuclear program. We also had a meeting of officials from the 3 countries in Washington last week, the defense trilateral talks, and at the end of that, the 3 sides pledging to put pressure on the DPRK to abandon its nuclear program, with growing concern that the DPRK is preparing a 4th nuclear test. Now, Obama told the Yomiuri that he and Abe will reaffirm their stance that a nuclear North Korea is unacceptable. They also plan to discuss the Ukraine and China. Obama telling the Yomiuri, quote, the Senkaku Islands are administered by Japan and therefore fall within the scope of Treaty 5 of the U.S.-Japan Treaty of Article 5, sorry, of the U.S.-Japan Treaty of Mutual Cooperation. He said that the U.S. opposes any unilateral attempts to undermine Japan's administration of those islands. Now, the Chinese, of course, call the Senkakus the Diaoyu Islands, and they claim sovereignty over them, partly based on documents going back to nearly 600 years ago. Obama and Abe give their news conference at lunchtime today, and then Obama is having a formal dinner with Emperor Akihito at the Imperial Palace. On Friday, he's heading over to Seoul for a summit with President Park, and he's also visiting Malaysia and the Philippines on this tour, Phil.
A busy day for officials and likely a busy day for you. Mike Firn, thank you very much, live for us in Tokyo.